me again, working on the transfer case on a 2001 Acura MDX. Got the had to do the transmission, so I'm going ahead and doing the seals in the transfer case. There's the MDX. Now there isn't enough clearance to remove this with the exhaust on the vehicle and the transmission in. I got it out because I was pulling the transmission. Got a new rebuilt one. So to get at these inner seals, you're either going to have to pull the transmission or pull the exhaust off. I didn't have an Acura dealer near me, but the 2003 and 2004 Honda Pilot have the same transfer case. So I got the parts for that. Here's the part numbers. You got one O-ring here. Move this outer casing. You got another O-ring right there. You always want to inspect your bearing and your bearing race. While you get this apart, make sure you don't dump anything out or put anything back together wrong. And then the third seal I'm going to change is the shaft seal. You got to remove that big nut. Here's the part numbers. There's one of the O-rings. There's the shaft seal. And there's the third O-ring. Now again, I got these for a 2003 Honda Pilot. 0304 Pilot have the same transfer case as 01 and 02 MDX. The other first generation MDXs might be similar, but as far as the part number goes, it was just for 01 and 02. 3, 4, 5, and 6 might be I believe those are very similar though. So now we're going to go ahead and change out these two O-rings and then remove this propeller flange to get to that rear seal. Here's the propeller shaft bolt. You need to get a very thin screwdriver in that groove and hit it with a hammer. See, very thin. Depending on how yours is bent, you want to be sure you don't smash the metal down into the groove and that you actually push it out of the groove. So you might have to start with a thinner screwdriver and then move to a thicker one to get that banged out properly. And once you get that off, I believe it's a 32 socket. If you have one of these, it makes it a lot easier. Ingersoll Rand W7150. Thing's a beast. Takes pretty much everything off. If you don't, I guess you can get a long breaker bar. So that's the next thing. Just remove that nut. Here it is with the flange removed. I had to actually use a pulley puller. 2-jaw would be best, but I only had a 3-jaw. I didn't have to pull very hard. It seemed like it was just kind of stuck on there. I just gave it a little bit of force and it came right off. So you won't have to put very much force on the pulley puller to get it to come off. That's what it looks like. And I know the lighting isn't great, but there's the seal we want to change right there. Here's the new one. I'll wipe my hand off. It's already got grease on the inside of the seal. Comes that way. Make sure your spring stays in place. Now we just gotta take a little screwdriver or seal remover and carefully remove that seal. Make sure you don't scratch or gouge up the metal. While you do it, just pop. Usually I like to get right in between the metal and the seal with a tiny screwdriver and just slowly work that thing out. Here's what it looks like with the seal removed. You want to make very sure you don't knock all this stuff out. You gotta apply a bit of force to get that seal. You want to make sure everything stays in place, nothing falls out. You know how to put it back together. Although you could always get the factory service manual diagram. There's the old seal. It actually still has a decent amount of give. This seal wasn't terribly bad. I can feel a tiny bit of hardening, but since I have it out of the car, I'm changing it anyways. And the new seal, of course, is right there. Now, to get this seal in, I usually put a tiny bit of oil on the outside to slide it in easier. You can find a socket or a piece of PVC pipe, or you can use the other old seal on top of this seal to put it in. You just want to be real careful not to damage the new seal you're putting in, and that you get it in straight. Looks like there's a stop. I don't know if you can see where it's a little beveled. That should stop the seal, so you want to put it all the way back on that. Put this in. There's the new seal installed. I just put the old seal on it carefully. I usually do pretty well doing that. Some people say don't, but I've done it for years without any incident. And I put a socket on top of that and gently tap it. Now, every 3 or 4 taps, I take it off and examine the seal, make sure it's not cockeyed, make sure you're not tearing the side of it. So you just tap it a couple times, check it, tap it a couple more times. It should go all the way in and have just a little bit of the metal, just a little bit of the curved edge sticking up above the seal there. But it should make sure it's flush, and you should be good with that. Now, sometimes, like I said, I use PVC pipe. That's also you can take your new seal to Home Depot or Lowe's and size it against the pipes they have there, or you can just take a big socket in the old seal, whatever works for you. Now that we got that changed, just reinstall the flange and the bolt. And down here, this should be pretty self-explanatory. All you're doing is changing these 2 big O-rings. You just take them out and put the new ones on. That's really all there is to that. One last note, you probably want to clean all this dirt up. You don't want to get crap inside your transfer case. And that's how you change the seals on your transfer case for a 2001, 2002 Acura MDX or a 2003, 2004 Honda Pilot. Thank you for watching. Actually, one more thing I just noticed. I didn't notice it on the diagram, but there's actually another O-ring inside this flange. Now, this one still feels nice and rubbery, so I'm going to reuse it. But probably want to get that and change that too if you're overhauling your transfer case. Yeah, so I did miss that, but that is also another seal you would want to change. Mine still feels good, so I'm gonna just reuse it now, especially since I don't have time to run back to the dealer. But yeah, just make sure you note that there's a 4th seal there.